A lot of people in the world are into personal development, but not many people talk about the loneliness that comes with growing as a person and having to let go of anything that no longer serves you. In this video, I'd like to talk about this, my personal journey, as well as how to deal with the loneliness that comes with the growth, right? My name is Lara, and as a musician, I'm called Saphy. So I've got two names, which is quite cool. And welcome to my YouTube channel. At 17 years old, I moved to London from my small village in France to pursue my dreams. And I've been working for the past couple of years on cruise ships, where I've been a piano bar entertainer, surrounded by different crowds every night and traveling internationally, living my best life. But I was very unfulfilled within. That's why I decided to quit everything and face myself by settling back to France, in the country where I had been through quite hard things and where I've decided to face everything I had been through and start over. If you want to know more about everything I'm talking about, I've written a song that's called A Place to Belong. I actually put it on YouTube yesterday. It talks about my childhood wounds and how I wished I had a place to belong. So feel free to check it out if you're up for it. One thing I've understood quite early on is if I wanted to grow and attract more things into my life, things that I didn't have, like certain people or money or a different lifestyle, I had to become someone new. I had to become this person. I had to think, feel, and act just like someone who would attract these kind of things, right? If you've read some personal development books, you're probably familiar with that concept. But it's not about getting the things and then becoming. It's about becoming and then getting the things, right? I've realized that you really have to change your mind, you have to change your behaviors, change your thoughts, and change your emotions. I realized that if I felt bad and negative and angry, frustrated all the time, I wouldn't be able to attract great things into my life because my level of energy does not match with what I want to attract. So this is something I've realized quite early on, and especially in the past couple of months where I had to face my biggest fears, especially my fear of not making an income. So yeah, this is something I've realized early on. And just ask yourself, whatever you want to become, what do you need to get or to think in order to get there? How would someone who has a successful business think, feel, and act? And in order to become that person, you have to change yourself. And in the process of changing myself, I've realized that I had to let go of my old self. That's scary because the mind prefers what's familiar over what you desire. So even if you really feel like there's something you're dreaming of, the mind will prefer what it knows, the thoughts it knows, the behaviors it knows. And your subconscious is just going to lead the way without you even wanting these things happening. And in order to release the old self, there's a bridge. There's a bridge between the old self and the new self. And this bridge really is about figuring out what it is that you want and how you can move forward with that. And trust me or not, it's actually not obvious to know what you want. Even just yesterday, I was having a walk and I just realized I really love voice noting. I really love talking to people, but not always face to face, right? So maybe I could build a business that's based around that. And I realized that yesterday when I've been doing that for years, So figuring out what you really want is really bridging the gap, closing the gap between your old self and your new self. It's just figuring out, making it obvious to your conscious mind, right? Once you know what you want, it's so much easier to actually ask yourself, how would a person who has these things behave, as I said before? And you slowly try to become that person, right? But in this process of releasing the old self, there can be so much loneliness because obviously your old self is attached to everything the mind knows, and the people as well that are around you are are people that are attached to your old self and your old way of living. So everything in your life, even the environment you're in, your family, your friends, your everything, your work or whatever, is attached to your old self if you're becoming someone new. And in this process of becoming new, there's this gap where you have to face yourself and maybe to distance yourself from your previous life, if you see what I mean, right? And this process can be quite painful, and I find so much loneliness in it. And I found some people talking about it on YouTube, but I realized how if you really want to become someone new, you have to let go, and you have to go through that phase of facing yourself and not doing the same things as before. And for me, at the moment, it really is about facing myself, spending time alone. I'm so scared of spending time alone. I'm crazily scared of spending time alone, but I decide to do it because it scares me. And wherever fear is, it means you should go there, I believe. So now I had a good 10 days to actually spend time for myself and just be alone and face everything that I've been feeling within. And it's a good time as well to reassess your relationships, to reassess everything in your life and ask yourself, does this align with the new version of me? Does this align with my new self? So that's releasing the old self, and trust me or not, it's a death. It's a death of a part of you is dying. So it's so important to actually notice it and be aware of it. That is not going to feel comfortable, and I don't feel comfortable right now because I can feel like so many parts of me are actually, I'm saying goodbye to them, and I'm stepping into fear so that I can become my new self. Visualization is such a great tool for, seeing who your new self is and letting your future self talk to you. Not even yesterday, I did a future self meditation where I actually met my future self, and it actually talked to me, and it said to me everything I needed to hear right now. And it can guide you so easily if you let it. It knows exactly where it is, and it knows exactly where you are. And if you listen to your future self, so your intuition as well, is just gonna guide you towards where you really want to head. I think the loneliness really comes from saying goodbye to the things you used to have in your life. Whether, again, there are thoughts or behaviors or actually physical things like people or whatever. It actually comes from saying, okay, this no longer belong to me, and this no longer is in my life because I'm closing this chapter. And accepting that if you want to step into something new, you have to release some of the things, and that can be very painful because the loneliness also is about facing yourself. And we are social creatures that need, to be around people who we're inspired by and who